Well, hello there. There's been an update in the DoorDash girl situation. She actually got arrested on 2 felony charges, and we have quite a bit of information at this point, including the charges themselves and the original report where she had called the police. And then we have a statement from the police department. So I'm going to go over all of that, and then I'll give you my thoughts about the whole thing. So here we have the first charge is unlawful surveillance for amusement or profit. And she did not do herself any favors by making more videos after the fact, saying that she was really upset because TikTok was taking her videos down and she wasn't going to get paid for them.
And they took down my video. They were going to have to pay me for my second story time because that was over a minute long. They were going to have to pay me for all those views I got. So nope, they took that right down.
So they will definitely use that as evidence. And then the dissemination of the image is where she posted it online. So yeah, unfortunately, she comes from a generation where she feels like she needs to share everything that happens to her. So she posted it to TikTok. And that's the problem. So here we have the original report where she called and the police came out and did an initial kind of sweep of the house to kind of see what was going on. And it says on the above date, which was 10/14. And I want you to keep that in mind because let's look at the timeline here. So the first video that caused her all the problems was released on 10/12, which was the day the incident happened. And that one got taken down by TikTok. And keep in mind, that was 2 days before she called the police. On 10/13, she made this video responding to somebody saying, hey, you should report this to the police. And so she was like, yeah, I should do that. I should report it to the police. So it's pretty obvious that her intention by filming him was just to post it to TikTok. But we'll get into that in a minute. The police report was on 10/14. It says, on the above date, time, and location, I responded to a public lewdness complaint. Upon arrival, I spoke with Olivia Henderson, who stated that she was door dashing last night at this place. And when she arrived, the male who ordered had his front door wide open. Now remember, this is Olivia saying this. So he's saying Olivia stated he had his door wide open. And as of now, there's not any evidence that that's not true. So it says his front door was wide open and he was sleeping on the couch with no pants on. Olivia stated that she left the food on the porch and left. She advised me that she called because she did not want this to happen again to another female delivery driver. So, before we get on to what he has to say about Austin, what is missing from that statement? There are 2 things missing from that statement. Number 1, she does not mention that she filmed him. And the second thing she does not mention is SA. You would think if she was trying to report sexual assault, she would have mentioned that in her call to the police. And then the other interesting thing about that is she says that she called because she didn't want this to happen to another female delivery driver. Except she didn't call until 2 days after she had already posted it to TikTok when somebody on TikTok gave her the idea. So then it says, I then responded to that place and spoke with Austin, who stated he had gone out last night to the bars. He stated he woke up and realized his front door was open. Now, he's not saying he realized his front door was always open. He woke up, saw his door was open. Now, he's not saying that somebody opened it. He's just saying he realized, oh crap, my door's open. And he was passed out drunk. And saw the photo Olivia left of the food being delivered and his door open with him laying inside. So she took a picture of the food and of him laying inside. So then Austin states that when he saw that picture, he thought he had shorts on in the photo and did not realize he was actually naked. Austin stated several times that this is not normal for him and that he was sorry that it happened. I advised him at this time that there are no charges. However, if it becomes a recurring issue, he could potentially get charged, meaning it has not happened before. There are still people saying that he has a history of this, but If they went and investigated this, they would have pulled up his name and they would have seen if he had a history of this. And they said very clearly, if it becomes a recurring issue, he could get charged. So he does not have a history of this. At this time, there are no applicable charges due to lack of intent. And because Austin was within his own home with no view to the public, aside from Olivia being on his private property to make the delivery. Now, I have not had a drink since before DoorDash was a thing. But if DoorDash had existed back when I was in my heyday and I was drinking and things like that, I can guarantee you I would have had several instances where I woke up with cold food on my front porch and no idea how it got there. A lot of us have had similar situations to that. It's not right. I'm not advocating that people sleep on their couch naked with their door open, but it was an accident. It was a series of unfortunate events. And right here it says, due to lack of intent. And assault requires intent. If a guy is at a pool party, and as he's getting out of the pool, his pants slide down on accident, is everybody there an assault victim? No, of course not. There has to be intent. And the only way you can say that he did it intentionally is just to make that up. There's no evidence that he did it intentionally. And the only reason to make that up about the guy is because you want to. But notice again that Olivia did not mention being SA'd in the original report because she knew she wasn't. That wasn't what this was about. So let's get on to the statement from the police department. It says, on 10/13, an incident was reported to the police department. Now, this says 10/13, but the original report said 10/14. But either way, it was still reported after she posted it to TikTok. It was reported that a male DoorDash customer had been nude inside his residence when a DoorDash delivery driver dropped off a food order. An investigation was initiated by the police department, during which it was discovered that the delivery driver had taken video of the nude male. Notice it says during the investigation it was discovered because she didn't tell them. She didn't tell them that she had recorded him. Now, if she thought she had been SA'd, don't you think she would want to show them the evidence of that? Don't you think the first thing she would do is say, I got SA'd, here's the video? But she didn't do that. She didn't tell them that she recorded him at all because she knew she didn't get SA'd and she knew that recording him was wrong. During which it was discovered that the delivery driver had taken video of the nude male. The video, along with the subsequent investigation, indicates that the male was incapacitated and unconscious on his couch due to alcohol consumption. The video was taken from the exterior of the male's residence, and yeah, the video is her zooming in to see anything. The DoorDash driver subsequently posted the video to social media where it drew significant attention. It was further discovered that the DoorDash driver had made claims of being SA'd during the incident. It was further discovered by the police department, not reported to the police department. It was discovered by the police department that she was saying she was SA'd. If she really thought she was SA'd, don't you think she would have reported that to the police? Or is it possible that she just thought that was a great way to maybe get people to be on her side and to get some sympathy? And it worked because a lot of people just went with it. Just said, you got SA'd? I believe you no matter what. Common sense, evidence, the guy's life be damned. The investigation by the police department determined that no SA occurred. The male depicted in the video cooperated with police and provided a statement. And again, if he had a history of doing this, they would have found that. They would have seen that. And he might have been charged too. Now, here's the thing. She was always going to be charged. 100%. There was no way she was getting out of being arrested or at least charged because she filmed him when he didn't consent and she posted him to the internet. That was always going to happen. But if he had a history of this, he probably would have been charged too. The investigation ultimately led to the arrest of the DoorDash driver, Olivia Henderson, for recording and disseminating the videos. Henderson was charged with the following: 1 count of unlawful surveillance in the 2nd degree, an E felony, 1 count of dissemination of an unlawful surveillance image in the 1st degree, an E felony. And again, she didn't do herself any favors by going on TikTok saying, they took down my videos, I'm not going to get paid for the illegal video that I posted. They're going to have a very easy time proving that she did it for personal gain or for profit. Whether it's true or not, because she made it seem that way, Henderson was released after being processed on the above charges and was issued an appearance ticket for a future court date in Oswego City Court. And it's December 4th, by the way. The Oswego Police Department continues to investigate the circumstances surrounding this incident and is in communication with the County District Attorney's Office regarding the prosecution of these charges. They are continuing to investigate. Independent video related to the incident has been collected and reviewed by the police department. And everybody is pretty sure that means it's the Ring doorbell camera footage. Now, there are a couple of outlets that are reporting that the Ring camera footage shows that she opened the door, but they don't have any sources. They don't have evidence of that. So I'm not going to believe that until somebody actually can confirm that. For example, Yahoo News says, according to the police account, the suspect, Livy Henderson, visited a customer's address on October 12th to deliver food in a contactless drop-off manner. However, she proceeded to open the closed entrance door and went inside. She claimed that she was SA'd, and it says, however, footage from the Ring camera revealed the customer did not invite her inside. So they are reporting that, according to the police, she actually opened the door and went inside. But I have not seen anything from the police that says that. And then they give a phone number if you have more information, and I think they're going to regret giving that phone number out because I think that phone line is going to be busy for a while. So yeah, it's pretty clear if you use your brain that her intention was to put this guy on blast on TikTok, just upload and possibly ruin his life and get some views. There was never any intention to call the police and report being SA'd, because if she had intended to do that, she would have done that. They didn't find out about the SA claims until they did their investigation. But then she heard on TikTok somebody say, you know what, you're a victim. And she said, yeah, I am a victim. And she labeled him a predator because of it. And a lot of people are happy to just run with it. But the biggest problem with all this is if you are not 100% on her side and agree with everything she says, then they come after you. In my video, I said, you know, calling this assault was a bit of a stretch. And people started wishing SA on my family and my children. These same people who are, for whatever reason, convinced that they have the moral high ground, that they are coming from a place of morality, instead of being the vile, depraved pieces of shit they are. And not only them, but all of these people who are happy to label this guy a predator with no evidence and just because they want to. And then they still act like they are morally superior. So her court date is December 4th, and with as much evidence as she provided, I think she's fucked.